I'd never heard of Andropause. I'd never heard of what low testosterone do to the body. For the sake of 25 quid, it genuinely changed my life. It changed my life, made me reflect more on my partner and what she went through, that she knew something wasn't right. She kept asking me, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. But she knew if partners see their other halves looking down and not being themselves, maybe not going out as much as they used to, or stopping going to the gym,
it might just save a life. Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. I'm Jo Banks. I've been a professional executive business coach for almost 15 years and I'm sharing what I know. Today I'm really excited to bring Justin back onto the channel and have a further conversation following an interview I did with him about a month, 6 weeks ago now on Andropause, the male menopause, although we don't like that term at all. But welcome back to the channel, Justin. Do you want to give a quick intro for yourself and what you do?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me back, first off, Jo. I'm Justin Powlesland. I am the director of JHP Recruitment. We're based down in Devon, cover the whole of the UK. And I was trying to get my story out about what happened with myself with Andropause, and kind of met Jo through LinkedIn. She put a very good post on. So thought we'd kind of touch base, and it's been really good. It's been really, really useful. So thank you.
No, you're very welcome. I really enjoyed our last interview and we've had amazing response from that. So if you haven't already seen that, this is where Justin goes into his story about Andropause, what happened to him, how he discovered what Andropause was. It's actually low testosterone. So we're not going to go back and rehash all of that again because I don't think it's necessary, but Justin was hugely courageous in what he shared. It was absolutely amazing. So if you haven't seen that video, I'll leave the link below. So please go back and have a little look at that. You never know, it might just save a life. And I don't think I'm being dramatic, Justin, do you, by saying that?
No, absolutely not. No.
Yeah. So following on from that, that was, as I say, a hugely courageous thing for you to do. So how have things been? What was the feedback from that initial interview that we did?
The feedback's been brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I kind of was expecting a little bit of negativity. I knew there was going to be a lot of positive comments and positive results that come out of it, but I was expecting some negativity. I think we spoke about that in the video. However, everything was brilliant. We've had so many people reach out and ask for more information, ask how I got diagnosed, ask how after being diagnosed kind of treatment went and etc. It's been unbelievable. So it was 100% the right thing to do. And I'm so glad that we did it.
Brilliant. So how have you been feeling? Because I know it was a really big deal, what we discussed last time. Yeah. How has it impacted you? How do you feel after doing it?
Initially, I felt nervous, really nervous, because I think from memory we recorded the everything on the Friday, and then it kind of went live on the Monday. And over the weekend, I was really nervous about kind of, have I done the right thing? Have I said the right thing? How is it going to be perceived? I believe everything happens for a reason. And I remember you said to me on the Friday, if over the weekend you change your mind, you don't want this to go out, you want anything cut out, send me an email. And I don't know if I've told you this, Jo, but actually that Friday I had a new mobile phone arrive with work. So I thought I'll take the new phone home and set it all up over the weekend. And when I got home to set it up, it needed my password for my emails, which I left in the office. So I couldn't actually set up my emails. So I couldn't have emailed you even if I wanted to. So wow. I think that was brilliant. I was really nervous. And then when it went live, you kind of, for me, it was a bit like, well, is anybody going to be interested in what I've got to say? You know, is anybody going to watch the video? Is it going to be
And I
sat there?
think we had about 100 within the first 24 hours,
Was it?
something
Yeah.
like,
Okay.
yeah, something big like that.
So yeah, it was nervous times, really nervous times, and then people started getting in contact because up until that point, so which might seem strange to a lot of people watching this, but I'd been really private with it all, and very few people knew what had gone on. And then all of a sudden, how everyone finds out is the video that we do together. Um, but the comments started coming in, and from people that I knew, from people that I'd never met before, just saying, well done on getting your story out, or can you help me with this? I think this is something that I might be suffering from. How do I get tested? And all of a sudden, you kind of start like a bit of a sigh of relief. It's a bit like, oh, yeah, okay, we did this. It's going to help people. This is definitely the right thing to do. So yeah, it full of emotion for me, I guess, for the first over the weekend before it went live, and in certainly the first 3-4 days, and then after that, yeah, it was kind of like it's not something I want to go into great detail in on here, but there was one
No,
message in particular that I'd received that was kind of like, if nothing else happens, this was the reason I did it. So yeah, but no, really, really feeling really good about it now, and getting lots and lots of comments and lots of support. So yeah.
wonderful. And just to give a really quick recap on Andropause, Justin was really poorly, felt really, really ill, late 30s, early 40s, feeling really bad. We're not feeling great. Mental health was not great. He didn't know what was wrong with you. Doctor said, oh, it's just depression and anxiety. Somebody else came along and told you about andropause and low testosterone. You got tested and your testosterone was literally on the floor. It's meant to be, correct me if I'm wrong, was it 29 count?
That's it.
And it
Yeah,
was at 8.
that's
And
it.
so you were massively deficient in testosterone.
Yeah. Yeah, and it wasn't something I'd ever heard of before. It wasn't something that I knew anything about, and I didn't realize how much effect testosterone has on on male, on all males. But once you get to 30, then it's very common for the levels to start dropping, and then kind of, like I say, your optimum levels are around about sort of the high 20s. That's where you want to be. And as soon as you get down and you get low, like I was so lethargic. I couldn't, like, the biggest thing for me was brain fog. Couldn't concentrate. I'd read a page of something. If you then said to me, literally after I've read it, what have you just read? I wouldn't have a clue. I was like, I'd have to reread it again. So yeah, they were the two biggest things. That brain fog and that inability to concentrate and think about anything. I said in the video about, like I say, I know you don't want to revisit it, but when I drove home from work and drove to the wrong house, yeah, and and things like that. So I always knew there was an issue. I always knew there was something in there, and it wasn't depression and anxiety. Well, it probably was on top of everything I had, but it was what I had that was probably that was actually bringing on the depression and anxiety, because I felt like nobody believed that I had issues. But yeah,
So in terms of then you discovered you had the blood test, and what we'll do is we'll leave the clinic details. Again, I don't want to keep rehashing everything because people have already seen the other video, or if you haven't seen the other video, you can go and have a look at it. But we'll leave the clinic details who diagnosed you. It's a blood test. We'll leave all of those below so that you can, if this resonates with anybody, you can go and have a look at those. You started on a course then of testosterone, and how long did it take for you to start feeling better?
So it's not, unfortunately, a 5 minute thing. It's not
Mhm.
something that you go, well, I've got diagnosed, I now, I'm injecting testosterone tomorrow, I'm going to feel better. It didn't work like that. And the doctors told me that they were, they did say to me it was going to take 2 to 3 months minimum before you start feeling sort of any better. And of course, they need to find the correct dosage for you. So, I started on a very, very small dosage, and then, then you get your blood tests after a couple of months, or after a month, I think it was. The levels were coming up, but very, very slowly. So then they up the dosage a little bit. And of course, this all takes time. You can't just go in and start putting in a big dosage. It just wouldn't make sense, and it could be too much. And yeah, so it took a few months, and I think from when I got diagnosed, and it was kind of that relief, which seems strange maybe to use that word, but it was relief that actually somebody believes me. There is an issue. We know what it is, and we can fix this. It's not anything that's life threatening or anything like that, and it's like, this can be fixed. Great. Um, so yeah, I had that great rush of sort of joy and going, yes, great. And then a kind of a week later, after you've started injecting, so, oh, I'm not really feeling any different. So you kind of get that, I had a bit of a crash again. And but literally after a couple of months, the dosage, the doctors got the dosage to the levels that they needed to be at, started feeling good, started feeling wanting to get back into daily life as it was before, getting my energy levels back. So therefore, wanting to go to the gym, and I going to the gym, kind of I had this anxiety that because I hadn't been for a while, that I knew I had to throw myself back into it, and I kind of said, "Oh, I'm going to go back," and then the day would come and I wouldn't, oh, maybe not today, not today. So the way I kind of got around it was I posted on social media that, right, I'm going back, and I tagged in my local gym, a few people that I knew that went there, and the manager. And I said, look, I'm back tomorrow. I need to see some friendly faces, because nobody know what was going on. And they just thought I'd been away. They didn't know if I was injured or just not training or whatever it was. Um, and the best thing ever happened to me, because when I walked through the door, it's got a mezzanine floor, and a really, really good friend of mine was stood at the top, and he saw me walk through the doors, and he just put his arms in the air and he just shouted down across the gym so that everybody could hear, he's back. And it was
Oh,
brilliant. And you put this big smile on your face, and you go, oh, that's what I needed. Um, but for me, it was about getting back into habits, daily routines, and getting back to where I was. So making sure I'm in the gym every day, making sure I'm eating healthy, and all these things do help. Going to the gym helps naturally bring your testosterone levels up
it
anyway.
does, yeah, especially if you're doing good weights.
Yeah,
Weights brings your testosterone levels up, doesn't it?
yeah. So but when your testosterone levels are so low and you've got no energy, you don't
Don't do
want
it.
to go. And yeah, so being, like I say, probably 3 months. In answer to your original question, how long did it take? So about 3 months, and then I started getting back, my energy levels back, and started getting back into the gym and doing, bits and pieces and stuff outside of work. And all of a sudden, you start feeling like you're back into your daily routine, and that was when it really started feeling good. So yeah, it's what are we now? It's going to be 18 months, 2 years, about 18
Brilliant.
months, I think, since I was diagnosed. So, and it's,
And really, the well-being thing is, as well as wanting to do a follow-up, because I think that's really important. And I will ask you in a second, is there anything that we missed from the previous one that you want to bring up today? But what I thought would be a really good one to talk about for us today as a natural follow-on is around men's mental health. And I know I'm not a man, but I do work a lot with men who are having, issues. Men don't necessarily like to talk about things. They should, they think that they should hold it all together, and all of the kind of stuff that we hear about, and why men don't look for help. And so I guess today I wanted to look at some of those interventions we can use to keep our mental health good. So before we get on to that, was there anything else on reflection? Because I know you, after a while, you did go away and watch the video.
I did.
Was there anything? Good for you.
I,
I know
I,
that would be tough.
I didn't think I would watch it.
Right.
Um, I think the reason I watched it was because it was going over and over in my head. Have I said the right thing? Have I said too much? Was probably the thing, that I was most worried about. So I did. I forced myself to watch it, and yeah, I think we kind of said everything that we wanted to say. For me, I guess the only thing that I don't know whether we did cover or not is I obviously knew what was going on inside me. So if there is guys out there, and if you go and watch the video and you go, I felt like that, I felt like that, then you kind of know that actually this could be it. But on the flip side, what it's made me do is made me reflect more on my partner and what she went through, because she always says that she knew something wasn't right, but she never, she kept asking me, "Are you okay?" And yeah, what men are like, yeah, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine. But she knew, and yeah, I guess really, if partners see, their other halves kind of looking down, and not being themselves, and maybe not going out as much as they used to, or stopping going to the gym, or all these types of things.
Yeah. If
Yeah,
your patterns start to be interrupted, if you're not doing all of the things that you would usually do, that's a
yeah.
bit of a red flag, isn't it?
I think, yeah, it's all well and good. I think you have got to look after yourself, and you have got to, but for me at that time, I had no idea. I'd never heard of andropause. I'd never heard of what low testosterone would do to the body and things like that. So it was never on my kind of, it might possibly be this, or it might possibly be that. It was never there. Um, but on the flip side, my wife watched the video, and if there might be other partners out there that have watched the video and gone, actually, this could be something that, like I say, it happens more often than people know or think. It affects a lot of men, and
So what would your advice be to the partner who
for
sees
me,
this?
yeah, I guess if you can sit down with your partner, and have the list of things that, that I said, the brain fog, the lethargy. I kind of went through this period where I didn't want to be around people, which is really hard because my job is based around people, um, and I found it really hard. And I found myself constantly, even going to parties and things, I had to really force myself to go.
It's like self-isolation. That's
Yeah,
freeze from fight, flight, freeze, that. That's you going into self-protection freeze mode.
and all I wanted to do was be at home with my wife and my kids. That's all I wanted to do, and I just wanted to kind of hide away, which isn't me at all, because I'm quite social. I love going out. I love doing bits and pieces and like that. And if you see partners that maybe are struggling with things like that, the blood test it's such a simple blood test, and it's, you can buy it privately, and it's 20 quid, 25 quid, something like that.
It's
For
ridiculous. Why
the
wouldn't you?
sake of 25 quid, it genuinely changed my life. It changed my life, because who knows what would have happened. And that one simple thing, just bringing my testosterone levels up, means I go out and play football with the kids again. Means that I can go out and do things with the family, and get up and go to the gym, and just, yeah, be myself
Get your
again.
life
Yeah,
back. You've
yeah,
got your life back basically, haven't you?
yeah, yeah.
Well, I
So
think that's a great bit of advice. So to sit down with the partner, get the list, and I've got another video where I list everything in that video. So again, I'll leave the links below so people can go ahead and have a look at the kind of symptoms of low testosterone. Anything else you think that we missed?
no, I don't think so. I think you were brilliant, and you kind of,
Bless
you
you.
managed to get all the information out of me. So yeah, no, I was like I say, although I hated watching the video back, and it was, yeah, I think everything that wanted to say or needed to say, I think we got out there. So yeah.
Fab. So in terms of, I mean, one of the things that you said there, and one of the things that I teach, I do a lot of well-being, mental toughness, corporate stuff around well-being. And one of the things that I know in myself as well, because I had a very complex childhood, which I've started to talk about now, there was lots of abuse and drama and trauma and all kinds of things. And one thing that I know that I need to do is if I'm not eating well, if I'm not exercising every day, and that's every day, and we talked about my dodgy knee at the moment, which is not allowing me to do much cardio, which is just driving me mad. Sleeping well, drinking enough water. We're animals. We are not meant to be locked in cages in, offices and cars and houses. We're not meant to do that. If we don't get daylight, if we don't exercise and do all of those other things, it stands to reason that we're gonna deteriorate.
Yeah.
So, have you got any thoughts on, because I know you said that you were very active before you took this drop in your testosterone. Have you got anything to add to that, get those basics right?
I'm very much a believer in habits and
Mm,
routines. And if people talk about going to the gym, and when you talk to people and they go, "Oh, don't go to the gym," it just seems a hassle. But when it becomes part of your daily routine, when you don't go, exactly like you said with your
yeah.
injury, it affects you. It did affect me because I go to the gym in the morning. So I get up just before 5 o'clock. First thing I do, get up, get ready, go to the gym, and I go to the gym before I come to work. It's just what some people prefer to
I
go.
could never do that in a
Yeah, no,
million years.
but it is what it's kind of what you.
Your body's used to as well. I'm always used to training in an evening, so if I train in the morning, I'll train, I wanna eat, and then I want to sleep because that's what my body's used to doing, training, eating, going to bed.
Yeah,
So if I try and disrupt that now and try and do it the other way, my body does not like it,
yeah.
really doesn't.
So by doing it that way, I kind of go right. I get it done, and I find
Yeah.
that during the day I will
Got more
eat better.
energy.
But I'll eat better because I'll go. Do you know what?
Yeah.
You got up at 4:45 this morning to go to the gym. Don't ruin
Yeah.
it by eating this cake or this or um, and then I go home. I've got the evening with the kids. The kids go to bed at 9:30. As soon as they're in bed, I'm in bed. So I'm not a late night person. It's just it's my routine. It's the way that my body works. Yeah, I'm a firm believer in get your routines right.
And it has to be a routine because I did another video, I think, on motivation versus discipline. If I waited to feel motivated to go to the gym, I'd probably never go.
Yeah,
But I've gone pretty much every day for the last, I'm going to show my age, 36 years I've been going to the gym.
yeah,
And it's a routine. It's just a routine. I don't think about it. It's like getting up and going to work. It's like getting up and cleaning your teeth. It's a routine. Not going is not an option because it's a routine. And I think that's where a lot of people fall down. They wait to feel motivated and it just doesn't work like that, does
absolutely.
it?
Yeah, absolutely. Believe me, if I could eat what I wanted and do whatever I
Me
wanted
too.
and not put on weight and not
Yeah.
then I would. But unfortunately, if I want to kind of stay in shape, then I've got to do something about it. Because
Yeah.
with my job, I sit down all day. I
Mhm.
haven't got an active job, so I'm not.
Yeah.
If you're working on the roads or in the building trade or and you're carrying stuff around and you're on the move all the time, you're burning those calories, great. When you're sat at a desk all day, I could literally probably burn 500 calories in a day, and do like 2,000 steps. Yeah, so I it has to be part of my day. Routine for me is key. And
And a good way to get into routine is what we call habit stacking. So it's stacking the new thing that you want to get consistent at doing, you do it immediately before or after something you already do. So for
right,
you get up in the morning, you probably go to the loo, brush your teeth, have a wash,
yeah,
get your gym kit on and straight out the door. So you've tagged it onto something you already do.
yeah, yeah. So before I go to bed, I have to get all my gym gear out.
That's
You
it.
have to move it all downstairs.
Make it easy.
It's when
Make it
the
easy.
alarm goes off, so I don't have to wake the wife up to get up, sneak downstairs. Like I say, use the bathroom downstairs, and do everything down there, get dressed. Yeah, and I leave about 20 past 5 every morning. And yeah, it's just
Habit.
yeah,
Habit.
absolutely,
And,
yeah,
and and you've got to make it easy for yourself as well, because I do the same thing. I get my gym kit ready in the morning. As soon as I make sure I look at the clock, and at 6 o'clock that goes down. I can come back and log back on later if I need to, because we have to sometimes when we work for ourselves.
yeah,
And then my gym kit's there, gym kit's on and out the door. If I don't have that step by step and made it easy for myself beforehand, they call it, there's a term for it. I think it's called being your own butler. So having your things all laid out for yourself beforehand to minimize the, oh, I can't be botheredness.
yeah.
These are the things that you need to do, I think,
Mm.
to create those new consistent habits. It's having that forethought, isn't it?
Yeah, and there are plenty of times, loads and loads of mornings I
I
get up,
bet.
and
Especially now it's cold.
especially this time of year, yeah, and you go, oh, but as soon as you leave the gym, you go,
Yeah.
yeah, you never leave the gym thinking that's bad
I wish I
workout.
hadn't done that.
Yeah, it's done, it's over, great, right now I'm ready for the day. So yeah,
And another thing that I say to people about that, if you're really struggling getting yourself to do exercise, is do a reframe. Reframe in terms of, don't necessarily start dwelling on how you feel about having to do it and, oh, it's going to hurt. Flip it, do a reframe and think how you're going to feel afterwards. Because exactly what you said there, nobody ever says, I wish I hadn't done that workout.
yeah,
So
yeah,
do that reframe, and that flip can be another thing that just pushes you over the edge. And there's one more thing I'd like to just add on this. And this is a tool by a lady called Mel Robbins. She's an American success coach, and she says use the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 rule, where literally, if you don't want to do something within 5 seconds, your brain will come up with a reason for you not doing it, because we're pain averse. So if you think, oh, I really don't want to go to the gym, your brain will think, oh, yeah, because you've got to do this and you've got to do this and you've got to do this. So occupy that part of the brain. So as soon as you think, I need to go to the gym, count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It occupies that part of the brain coming up with the excuses. Get your trainers on and get out the door. Just something one person said to me about diet. Just for a week or even one meal a day, avoid anything that's come out of a factory. Because actually, if we all just stuck to anything that's quite local, anything that's been recently living, so a plant or animal,
yeah,
if we stuck to them, we actually could never get fat, because you can't eat enough of those things to be fat, which I thought is amazing. But if you can just do that for one meal or 1 week to do a reset,
yeah.
that's doable. You don't have to go down this mad route of these mad fad diets. Just going
Well,
back to what our ancestors ate.
I'm in currently in week 3. Of 4. I said I was going to go 4 weeks without any refined sugar. So no sweets, no biscuits, no cakes, literally nothing.
How's that going?
Do you know what? After the first week, because I've got a real sweet tooth and I love
Me
biscuits.
too.
Yeah. First week was really really tough. But actually, once you get through the first week, you kind of go, well, actually, yeah, it's good. So I wanted to do it because I put on a little bit, not much, but a little bit of weight, and I said, Christmas is coming. I want to enjoy Christmas. I will let my hair down at Christmas. I'll have a few drinks,
Yeah.
I will eat, and like most people do at Christmas. So I thought, well, if I go 4 weeks, I haven't changed anything else in my diet. So just, normal diet, but no refined sugar, so no sweets. And yeah, I lost 5 kilos, which is
Whoa.
11, 12 pounds, something like that. Is it something like that?
Oh my God, that's amazing. Doesn't it just show you?
Yeah.
I
And
know, I know sweets and sweet things are my downfall. I try, so another top tip is, don't have anything like that in the week, and maybe just have it at
yeah,
weekends, but you have to be careful that you don't binge on it.
yeah,
And I find if I don't have anything in the week and then I have some sugar, a lot of sugar at the weekend, I feel quite ill. It's like a hangover.
yeah.
It's really funny. It's because it's toxins, isn't it?
It is, and it's hard when you've got kids as well.
Yeah.
If you haven't got kids, you kind of go,
Yeah.
well, you don't buy it, and it's not
Just don't
bad.
buy it.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Don't
fine.
buy it.
But when you got kids, you can't, you can't be that cruel. So we have got it in the house, and they're brilliant, and they always say, you know, they're very good at sharing, which I wish they weren't sometimes. And they'll be eating stuff. Dad, do you want a bit of this? I'm like, no, no, no. I mean, yeah, I do. But yeah,
I think I'm gonna do your challenge between now what date are we on now? We're on the 1st of December now, 2023.
tough to do it
I'm
in
gonna
December.
well, it's okay for me. I'm gonna take you up on that challenge up to Christmas,
Yeah,
up to the 24th, because
yeah,
I don't drink. I stopped drinking alcohol during lockdown.
mhm,
That was a conscious decision, and actually, that's really weird because I don't even like the taste of it anymore. I never thought I'd say that, and I've not given it up for any religious reasons or for any puritanical reasons or because I had a drink problem. I just got into cycling during lockdown, and I
yeah,
found that if I had a drink the night before, I couldn't cycle. I do road cycling.
yeah.
Couldn't cycle very well the next day, so I just stopped drinking, and I just don't enjoy it now. Never thought I'd say that. So
It's
that's
um,
not going to be an issue,
since what I went through, I've not stopped. But
but you're
this
limited.
year, I've probably drank half a dozen times, maybe less than that. I just
And a lot of people are moving that way now.
And it's like I said, I'm not. It's not that I'm against it. It's not,
No,
anything like that.
no, don't
Like
judge.
no, it's just I realised that it's not just the next day, but I found that it was
Days.
affecting me for a few days, and so I kind of So I kind of made a conscious decision that, like, for instance, I'm going out for my anniversary next week. I said to my wife, she said, "Should I book a taxi?" No, I'll drive.
Yeah.
And it doesn't bother me. It really,
Me neither.
she'll have a couple of glasses of wine, I'm sure. But yeah, I'm quite happy, you know, you know.
It's amazing, isn't it? I never thought I would say that, but
No,
yeah,
me
I that
neither.
that
Yeah, I was a real party animal as a youngster. I spent a summer in Greece, and I was probably drunk every day for 4 months or however long I was there. Um, but yeah, I it just like I say, I found it affected me. And it wasn't
yeah,
just
me too.
a hangover the next day, but it was affecting me mentally for a couple of days afterwards. And I was like, do you know what? I don't know if it's worth it anymore.
No.
So so I just went, well, no, I didn't kind of announce it and went, that's it, I'm giving up. I just made a decision and kind of
Yeah.
went, well, there it is. And yeah,
I've got too much I want to achieve. I can't be losing days.
yeah,
Too much I wanna do, you know? Um, Another thing that we talked about in our very first conversation before we even got to filming was journaling. Now, if you'll talk to that for a little bit, but one thing that I do want to say is there's a guy that I follow. A lot of people know of him. He's absolutely amazing. He's a neuroscientist called Andrew Huberman. And just this week or last week, he released a podcast and he's done a deep dive into the benefits of journaling. He looked at 200 peer reviewed articles and research on the power of journaling. Is that something that you're happy to have a little chat about?
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
So I know you've had some experience of journaling, and maybe if you explain that, and I can maybe give you the science
yeah.
behind it.
Well, I'd never heard of this guy. I'd never really looked into it. And like I say, when we first started chatting, I remember when it wasn't recorded, I think I said something along the lines of, "I think I'm a bit strange, Joe, because I tend to write bits down." And I did. I had a folder on my PC which was just full of pages that, when I wasn't feeling right, or I wasn't maybe 100% happy, or I would just write stuff, and I would just write it. No one ever saw it. And write it all down, and it would stay in this folder. And then I'd feel better I felt weird because I'd write it and then I'd feel better. And it was only when me and you started talking and I'd mentioned to you that I did this, and then you started telling me about the benefits of it and how it works and etc. But yeah, absolutely. I used to write about, it could have been anything from my health to what was going on at home with the kids, in work. My nan was really unwell, and unfortunately passed away. I wrote loads around about that sort of time about how I was feeling, and because I didn't feel that I could talk to anyone about it, so I would just write it all down, and no one ever saw it.
Mhm.
And then I remember saying to you that I think at that time, my work, it was all on my work PC, and it was time to change. We got to that point where the PC needed updating and I needed to change it. And I went back and actually reread some of it. And I remember you saying to me, it's the worst thing you could have done. Don't go back and read. So I ended up deleting everything and just getting rid of it. So yeah, but I find it really, really helps. But I can't explain why.
Well, there are lots of different forms of journaling. One is just, oh, this is what happened today and had a really good day and I'm doing really great. That's a lovely way of just kind of getting out what's happened during the day. If there's been any little challenges or anything. Another way is gratitude. Looking back through your day and picking, literally hour by hour and picking things out that
Yeah,
you're grateful for, because there's lots of science behind parts of our brain that lights up when we're in gratitude. It really has a massive mental benefits when we look back through our day and really feel what we're grateful for. Um, Now, there's a particular protocol that Andrew Huberman talks about, and I'm not going to go through that because you can just go and he's going to explain it better than I ever could. Go and have a look at that. But in terms of if we've got traumatic, dramatic, troublesome, anxiety inducing things going on in our lives, it's clinically proven that actually getting them out of our heads and either speaking them out loud, which is why therapy works,
mhm,
or if we can't do that, actually typing or writing them out. I always used to say handwrite because there's a brain pen connection, but
yeah,
according to Andrew Huberman, it doesn't matter. You can literally type them out. So the process of working things out and getting it out of your brain actually helps your mind process everything. So it gives your brain relief. It allows your nervous system to calm down, to know that everything's taken care of. For your brain, your amygdala, which is the part of the brain that triggers your stress response, your fight, flight, freeze. When we sit down and write and get it all out, it allows your nervous system, your amygdala, to know that everything's okay and you're safe.
yeah,
So the thing that I do say to people, if you're just happy clappy journaling or just looking at your progress on a certain project, or if you're doing that kind of journaling and there's benefits for all that, I say happy clappy and maybe that's not the right term, but if you're just generally diarising your day, that's fine to go back and revisit. But if you go back and revisit where you've been going through a very difficult time and you've got all of that stuff out, if you then go back and revisit it at a later date, it is going to trigger the same emotions and the same feelings you were having, because the brain cannot tell the difference. It can't tell the difference between that thing happening now and that thing happening in the past. So basically, by going and reading it again, you're re traumatizing yourself. Does
yeah.
that make sense? Does
It
that
does, yeah.
feeling make sense?
Because what I never even thought about until afterwards was actually everything I wrote was all negative. It was all negatives that were happening.
Mhm, mhm.
There was never anything. If I felt good, I felt like I could talk to people, and that was fine. But anything negative, I couldn't talk to anyone. So that was why I used to write it all down. So this folder, honestly, Joe, it was full. It was literally years and years worth of writing. If anybody ever got access to it, I probably would have. They would have taken me away. And it was, yeah. So when the bits that I reread, unfortunately, went back to when my nan passed away, and it really affected me really really badly. So it makes sense with what you were saying. So I remember when I told you about it, and like I say again, you seem to get things at me that no one else does because I told you about this, and then
Good job.
yeah, and then you said to me, "Yeah, don't go back and reread it." I went and I just deleted that. Like, I don't know why it was in there. I don't know why I saved it, and I just deleted everything. Unfortunately, the folder has got bits and pieces in it again now, but it's not nowhere
That's
near as
okay.
bad as it was. But I just find it's my way of
Getting things out.
yeah, yeah. So
It's your way of processing it. So what I would say to people is, by all means, just get it all out. Don't worry about your spelling and your grammar. It doesn't care. No one else is going to see it. You don't have to keep it. You can burn it. If you can have a little bonfire. So if you're getting some really difficult stuff out, have a little bonfire with it, or shred it, or delete it off your computer. You don't have to. It doesn't have to be for anyone else's eyes. And actually, there's something a little bit cathartic about tearing it up or burning it or deleting it, because
It
it's
felt good.
almost like
It felt
it's
good,
gone.
just literally highlighting a lot, just going to delete and just getting rid of it. Yeah, it felt good. Yeah. So yeah.
Absolutely. And the other thing that we had a little conversation on about therapy, because obviously therapy is amazing. But if you've been going through a really traumatic experience, the kind of stuff that we discussed in our previous conversation, and you're going to go to therapy, one of the things that I would highly recommend, and I'm not a therapist, but I know a lot about this now, I've been doing this a long time, is if you are going to go to therapy, please try and make sure that the person that you're seeing is trauma informed. Not all therapists are. Because when we keep going over and over and over the same things, we are constantly re traumatizing ourselves, whether we're writing it or whether we're saying it out loud. The nervous system does not know the difference between the thing that happened 25 years ago and it happening right now. To our brains, to our amygdala and our nervous system, there's no such thing as time. So if you're revisiting a childhood experience that was really traumatic, your brain will think you're going through it again. So it's really important that you find somebody that knows that and isn't going to make you keep talking about the same thing over and over and over and over again. So that's really quite important. That's a big bit of advice for if you are deciding to go for therapy. And I know a lot of men don't. It's a very low percentage. I think it's 30% of men and 70% of women seek therapy. It's a big mismatch. But if you are going, you want to make sure you're getting the right people. So really test them out, because some will say that they're trauma informed and they're not. I get the people from the other end who've been to therapy and had not great experiences. And I, as a coach, then, although I'm not a therapist, I am a coach, but I'm so highly trained that I'm able to unpick some of that. But I do see the aftermath of seeing somebody that's not great. So that's kind of my top tip on therapy, but I know it's a big deal for a lot of men to seek that out, which is why the journaling is a really good substitute. It's the second best thing, clinically proven. The gratitude thing is great if you want to do that every day, looking but even before you go to sleep, because this is another thing where we've got a lot of people who do a lot of worrying. One of the things, again, that's really proven to work well is to, before you go to sleep, look back on your day, find the things that went really well, be grateful for the things. Literally, you can do it hour by hour. Then when you fall asleep, your brain has positive things to work on rather than going to bed worrying. Your brain will carry on, your subconscious will carry on with those worrying thoughts throughout the night. And that's why you'll wake up. One more tip on sleep is, if you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning worrying, which is what a lot of people do, and I must do a video on sleep, leave a pad and pen by the side of the bed.
Yeah.
Because what's happened is on one of your sleep cycles, the third sleep cycle, we all wake up, and sleep cycles are 90 minutes. If your brain hasn't been able to process something, it's going to go, see this thing, you haven't dealt with it, you haven't dealt with it. So you'll wake up, you'll be worried, you'll get up and do that email or do that thing. But if you just leave a pad and pen by the side of the bed, don't turn the light on, just scribble down the thing that's worrying you, even if you can't read it, your brain, that's enough for your subconscious mind to think, it's okay. They've taken care of that, can go back to sleep. Anything else that we haven't covered?
I don't think so. I think we've kind of, over the couple of videos, I think we've gone through, everything. And yeah, I guess the one thing I will say is that I've had a lot of people reach out to me. So at the last camp, it was in excess of 60 people in total.
No way! That's amazing.
So if anybody has any questions, or wants to talk to me about anything, I'm more than happy to talk to anyone. Bypass 60, so which I'm over the moon with. So yeah, I'm here. I've been through it. I've done it. I've got the t-shirt. So if you want to ask me any questions, if you want to talk to me about it, I'm more than happy to chat to anyone.
And again, all of your details will be below. And as I always say, any comments, I answer every single comment. The only comments I don't answer are those from trolls or bullies. And if there's anything you want me to ask Justin, maybe he'll come on again at some point in the future. Justin, anything else? Any questions I haven't asked you? Anything that we've left unsaid?
No, I think for me, Joe, I just want to say a massive thank you to you, because yeah, this all started, we didn't know each other, a few months ago. And this all started
No.
from one comment that I wrote on a post that you put out there. So I just want to thank you for your work that you're doing, for helping me get the story out. And we talked away from the recording about kind of the difference that we're making to some people. And yeah, I can't thank you enough. So yeah,
Oh
really
no, you're
appreciate you.
welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for coming on and sharing. It's been a joy to have you. You're very easy to interview,
Thank
so
you.
thank you. Well, I shall wrap up if there's nothing else. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today. I have got lots more content coming in the next few weeks, more people that I've interviewed. So, again, if you haven't done already, please like, comment, share, and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss a thing. Finally, thank you to everybody who stays until the very end. And thank you so much for your continued support. It really does mean the world to me. Thank you.